What the young people are invincible. They're Johnny Concretes, they're unbelievably strong and all that carry on, but eventually concrete erodes and so does your body, and if you don't look after it, it'll come back. You must protect yourself and be aware of the regulations. You're protecting your own life and other people around you. People say, well, you know, you look healthy. Don't judge the book by its cover.
Just talk me through your early years. You left school, you were a young lad of 16, you started work with marble as a stonemason. Tell me about your health, what were you like?
Well, I started doing karate when I was 13 at school, so you've got all your school curricula where your games, rugby, football, cross country. Then I started work, carried on with my karate, became a black belt in karate, went on to, for years actually, till in my 30s training. There was never any problem with me breathing or fitness or anything else. You know, I used to do a lot of walking, fast walking as well. There was never any problem. So I was picking lumps of stone up or chunks of marble. So what developed was a very strong upper body, and with me karate training, my legs as well, plus all the walking I did. So it was like weight training of a day, and then I would be doing my karate overnight. So I was as fit as a butcher's dog, as they say.
Can I just ask you an unrelated question, because we're talking about it now? When you've been having a working life working with stone dust, has anyone ever told you about the dangers of working with stone dust?
They said that dust isn't good for you, but they never ever said about the respiratory silica crystal. Apparently that's the devil among all this, but nobody ever told me. I was never instructed about respiratory silica crystal. As I said to you, an old fellow said to me, what you breathe in, some of it stays in, but you think you blow your nose, and no, I'm not being crude, but when you cough, you bring this stuff up, and you see brown or red strands of this in your mucus. You know, so you think it's coming out, but you don't realise that some of it's staying in and staying there.
Terry, when did you first notice that you had problems with your health and particularly your breathing?
We were in Spain, it was quite warm and it was quite hilly. Now, walking in hills never bothered me before, but we'd be in the shops, bringing back our groceries, and I had to sit down on the pavement because I just couldn't breathe. And my wife said, what's to do with it? I said, I can't breathe, I've got pains in my chest, I'm really breathless. So we sat there for a bit, and we took the groceries up in stages, and I said, there's something wrong, and I had the pain in my chest for at least 2 weeks after I'd come back from Spain, and that's why I went to my GP, and she sent me then to the hospital to see a lung consultant.
And at any time when you were becoming unwell in those few weeks, did you ever link it with your workplace and the dust that you've been exposed to?
What I thought was, I'm getting older, so obviously you're not as fit as what you think you are, and it's just wear and tear on your body. Well, you know, I'm getting older, so I've got my shopping and I'm going up a hill. I never realised that my lungs had been damaged, and it was now starting to take effect on my general health.
Terry, how did you feel when you were first diagnosed with silicosis?
I was absolutely devastated, because you hear about people with silicosis, they're dying. It's like your lungs turn to stone and everything else. And as I say, I was only a young fella. It's catastrophic, really. I can't say anything else. I was crestfallen at that situation. Through no fault of my own, I'd got this disease, and how bad is it? How fast is it going to progress? How much longer have I got to live? I'm only a young fella, as far as I'm concerned, healthy, and where do we go from here? You know, what is the future holding for me? It's like a big black cloud on me all the time.
So Terry, it must have been a very difficult time of your life when you were given this diagnosis of silicosis. How did it affect you both personally and your health?
I was crestfallen when I got the information. I presumed I was fit and always looked after myself, and then I'm given with this bombshell of as I believed, a terminal lung disease. Where does that leave me? What's going to happen to my wife and family? You know, what can I do to minimise the effect of what's happening to me? The situation is I've always been an active person. My wife's an active person, so are my children. The situation that was, I was like set on the side of any activity because I can't walk fast, I can't run, definitely can't run. I used to do some swimming. When I was swimming, eventually I started to get short of breath, and if you're in the middle of the swimming pool, there's nowhere else to go. So it was too dangerous, as far as I was concerned, and too painful to push myself, get to the side, got out, got dressed, and went home, and I've never done it since. I try and do as much as I possibly can to minimise this disease. People say, well, you know, you look healthy. Don't judge the book by its cover. It's what's inside that's not, it's not right. And I feel like it all the time. I have like a short of breath. If you've run a marathon, you get like a burn. That's what from time to time I feel like if I've walked a little bit further than I should do. It's very uncomfortable.
If you were walking down the beach or knocking a football around in the park, would you still get breathless doing that now?
You can kick the ball, but if I have to go and get the ball, I'll walk. I can't run. I don't run anywhere. That's the end of it. I don't run anywhere. As I say, I used to be a very fit man, karate all my life. A lot of running, a lot of physical exercise, press-ups, sit-ups, star jumps. They're out the question. It's not worth doing it because it's so uncomfortable.
Terry, it's clear to me that from your description you've been exposed to significant amounts of stone dust, particularly in the sort of last few years of your working life. What factors do you think contributed to that very heavy exposure?
Well, it was the pressure of work more than anything else. We were supplying an awful lot of men with an awful lot of material, but there was only 3 of us, so it was intense, very intense. It was a smaller area that we worked in. The condensity of the amount of work we were doing and the small facility that we worked in. It was just a 3-tier cake of disaster, if you ask me.
What advice would you give younger people now in your trade about how to do things today to prevent them getting the ill health problems that you have?
So all I can say to all the apprentices working with silica, you must protect yourself and be aware of the regulations. You're not being a trouble causer, you're not a whistleblower, you're protecting your own life and other people around you. You must adhere to the regulations, and your employees must adhere to the regulations, and try and get the best equipment that they can afford. What the young people are invincible. They're Johnny Concretes, they're unbelievably strong and all that carry on, but eventually concrete erodes, and so does your body, and if you don't look after it, it'll come back and it'll do more damage, and you'll ruin your lives by not doing what you're supposed to do.